what I like best about the Terry and Jesse show is that it revives my hope in men to be godly men.
It's a really good show because it's relatable to family life, daily life. It's encouraging. It's like cheerleading also for Catholics. But number one, the reason I like it because you guys aren't afraid to speak the truth.
You are both the most compassionate hosts I've ever heard. And as a Jewish convert, I am a much better informed Catholic. Thank you, Terry and Jesse.
I just think it's the best thing that we have here in LA. It's awesome. I'm hooked.
Show, we invite you to this holy hour of power. We're two Catholics with a PhD in common sense. Our program is not right versus left. It is right versus wrong. This is Catholicism for the blue-collar man. There's several topics we want to share with you today. But on the third and fourth segment, we've got a special address from a bishop, a U.S. bishop. It's a call to arms, a Catholic call to arms. At the bottom of the hour, the third and fourth segment, there's a U.S. bishop. It's a major call for men to join the battle for life and family. He's saying we need to get off the sidelines. You don't want to miss that. But for the first and second segment, we want to talk about some of the current events. Did you know that Pope Francis, he met with Kim Davis, the Kentucky clerk? Absolutely. There's a lot of things that I learned from this meeting. Number one, the Holy Father gave her and her husband 2 rosaries. And the Holy Father told Kim Davis and her husband to stay strong. They met at the Vatican Embassy over in the U.S. And also, what was very powerful is that the Holy Father, Kim Davis says, I put my hand out and he reached and he grabbed it and he hugged me and he said, "Thank you for your courage." That's the first thing we can talk about. Here's another topic. The Pope blasts Rome's mayor. He calls him, get this, he calls him a, quote, pretend Catholic. Pope blasts mayor as, quote, pretend Catholic. Pope Francis raised eyebrows in Italy on Tuesday by slapping down the left-leaning mayor of Rome as someone who pretends to be a Catholic. And the Pope's comments on the politician, there's observers say that he rubbed the Holy Father the wrong way because the mayor of Rome is vocally supporting gay marriage and euthanasia. And this happened as Pope Francis was returning back from the United States and Cuba.
Before I mention about Kim Davis's meeting, I just want to tell everybody I miss all of you. The last 3 days I was in board meetings with Lighthouse Catholic Media. And later in the month, I'm going to be giving you some news that's going to bless the Catholic Church worldwide. And I truly mean that. But let's get back to Kim Davis. Last week, she visited with the Holy Father. This meeting was carefully planned. Her lawyer, Mr. Saber, said the idea was first discussed with representatives of the Pope on September 14th, more than a week before the Holy Father arrived in the United States. He said, I declined to say who had proposed it, but the Vatican officials had been aware of Mrs. Davis's jailing and that the meeting had been arranged through them, not through American bishops or bishops' conference in the United States. He went direct. That's the Holy Father's style, from what I can tell. I would not imagine that this would have been possible, that the Pope and his incredible busy schedule here in the States would have time to meet with Kim Davis, Mr. Saber said. Miss Davis and her husband were scheduled to be in Washington on Friday to pick up an award from the Family Research Center, which is a great group, but flew in a day earlier to meet with the Holy Father. Mr. Saber said he drove the couple to a spot near the Vatican Embassy, which was surrounded by security and crowds of people, hoping for a glimpse of Francis. Sneaking here inside was no mean feat, Mr. Saber said, because Miss Davis is now nationally recognized. Why do I go on with this article? Because if you remember, weeks ago, how long ago when this broke, Jesse and I looked at it and we gave our comments. And you know what? We were right with Pope Francis on this. We didn't know it at the time, but we have a PhD in common sense. And common sense says we need to fight for our religious rights. If you'd like to join in on this conversation, you're welcome to. If you agree or disagree, call us at 888-526-2151. That's 888-526-2151.
Something interesting about Kim Davis, she belongs to a Pentecostal church. She's had a recent conversion in the last couple of years to Protestant Pentecostalism, and that's a good thing, in fact, that she's opened her heart to Jesus Christ. But something interesting, her parents are Catholic. So that means that there's some Catholicism in Kim Davis's background. So hopefully this encounter with the Pope will bring her back home. And the article says that this was an emotional encounter for Kim Davis, again, because her parents are Catholic. So that makes me believe that she was probably a Catholic herself. Here's the third thing I'd like to share. You realize that ISIS is planning a nuclear holocaust to wipe hundreds of millions from the face of planet Earth.
Yep.
Here's what happened. A German journalist by the name of Jürgen Todenhofer, he spent 10 days with ISIS. Okay? They took away his cell phone, and he had just a bedroom with a small cot. But he basically spent 10 days with them. And some of the things that he shares, he says, number one, they want to wipe out everybody in the West through a nuclear holocaust. He says they want to impose an Islamic caliphate around the entire globe. He also said that ISIS is the most dangerous terror organization he's ever witnessed. He says that ISIS uses beheading videos to instill terror into civilian populations in order to make it easier for them to go in and take control. And guess what? It's being used quite effectively. He also says, and this is a reporter that was there for 10 days, he says, I don't see anybody who has a real chance to stop them. Only the Arabs can stop ISIS. He says, I came back very pessimistic, which is a very important point. In other words, the Muslim community, the Arabs, this isn't a Muslim Arab problem. They have to stop it. And this is something that this reporter says only the Muslim Arabs can stop their own problem.
And if you'd like to join in on our conversation, just give us a call at 888-526-2151. I just want to mention something what Jesse just said. The German man, he's 75 years old. He went there and spent the 10 days to look at this. I want to ask all of our listeners to pray hard for that Middle East right now because, as Mr. Pat Madrid said earlier today, 150,000 more Russian soldiers are coming in because they're instituting the draft. And so you can see that the battle lines are being drawn, and we need prayer. And later next week, Jesse and I are going to talk about Our Lady of Fatima's peace plan because all of us in the month of October need to get those rosaries out and start praying them for peace because we are in a lot of trouble. Also, I want to mention that what the Holy Father said when he met with Kim Davis and telling them to hang in there and fight the good fight and don't compromise, it seems to me that should be a message to each one of us listening today, whether you're Catholic or non-Catholic. We all have religious freedom issues, and we can't be just setting aside and saying, oh, that woe is me, or that's not dealing with me. I mean, for the Pope to do this, I just think it's remarkable that he does things like that. We never know where Pope Francis is going to go, and I think that's one of the reasons his popularity is so high, because you can't say where he's going to go. He's just telling it like it is, and I think a lot of people like that style.
Here's another topic that we could discuss. It's put out by 40 Days for Life. Right now, we're in 40 Days for Life.
That's right.
And the article says, if you need motivation to go pray outside an abortion center, this statistic should do it. Here's what it says. Praying outside of abortion centers saves lives. Don't just take it from me. Listen to former Planned Parenthood workers. They report that the no-show rate for abortion appointments goes as high as 75% when people are peacefully praying outside of an abortion clinic. Is this microphone on?
Yep.
Did you hear what I just said?
Absolutely.
Abortions go down 75% when people are peacefully praying outside. If you need motivation to go out and pray, that's it. That's why the abortion business will oftentimes build fences along the sidewalk. The bottom line is that abortion facility managers don't want you to talk or even pray for the women going in. It's bad for business. It goes down 75%. So remember this, your loving presence is too much for a fence or a heart to turn away. We've got Mabel calling from San Diego.
Before we go to Mabel, we're going to have a quick break. Mabel, hang in there. We're going to take you right after the break. I want to mention something. We're having our fundraising drive, as everybody knows, and it's been very, very successful. People are responding, and those who have responded, thank you very much. I just want to mention the power of Catholic radio. I was traveling outside the state in a city where there was no Catholic radio, and I went to Mass, and I was doing some little groundwork to try and help bring Catholic radio there. And I went to the Mass, and my goodness, I counted about 178 people at the Mass. Only 3 people were under the age of 50. The church was dying. And I ask you this, without Catholic radio, whether it's San Diego, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Francisco, think about the effect that Catholic radio is having on your city. Even if in L.A., we've only had it less than a year. I see so much fruit from Catholic radio, I say, no way can we let this stop. We've got to keep pressing and pressing. That's why I drove 1,000 miles out to wherever I'm going to say the city I'm going to. It's kind of secret right now, but when it comes out, you're going to be happy. And that's why I'm saying the effects of Catholic radio are just powerful enough for you to say, let's support Catholic radio. So when we turn this back over to Jerry and Debbie, and they talk about fundraising for Catholic radio, I want to ask you seriously, from my heart, Jesse's heart, support Immaculate Heart Radio. We are volunteers on Catholic radio. That's our support. 6 days a week, we come on, prepare for these shows, try and give you things that are going to be powerful to help build you up, not tear you down, but build you up and inspire you. I mean, things like this. Where else are you going to hear last week when we mentioned Pope Francis said Tuesday that no matter how progressive-minded the world turns, the Catholic Church can never compromise on no abortion rule. It's a matter of human dignity. I didn't hear one person comment on that other than Immaculate Heart Radio. That's why we have it. That's why I want to turn it back over to Jerry and Debbie. And please support the Catholic radio here at Immaculate Heart by calling that number. Jerry and Debbie, it's back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. And we'll get back to Terry and Jesse in just a minute. Debbie, tick, tick, tick. The clock does not stop. We're inside of 8 hours left in the pledge drive.
That's why we have to move rather quickly, dear listeners. So if you were listening to Terry and Jesse and you heard Terry talking about how important Catholic radio is, especially when we can hear the gospel message 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Immaculate Heart Radio, it's important to keep it going. Keep it going strong for our children and our grandchildren. Bring those fellow loved ones back into the church through Catholic radio. You can be a part of that. It's an eternal gift to your loved ones and to your community. So if you haven't pledged yet, this is your invitation. Jerry and I are inviting you right now to pick up the phone. You have to dial 888-887-7120 and make a pledge of any amount.
Any amount. We suggest, we ask, if you would, please give the gift of Catholic radio to your community. And a great way to do that is for you to become the owner of a half hour at $25 a month or an hour of programming, $50 a month. If you want all of the appreciation gifts we have, that's $100 a month. Here's what those are. Every caller will receive the Pillar of Fire, Pillar of Truth booklet. That's put out by Catholic Answers. For a new gift of $25 a month, we'll add to that a book called 9 Words. That's by national radio host and author Alan Hunt, and he takes you through some really impacting scripture passages. And then we have, for a new gift of $50 a month, you get those 2 items plus prayer partner bracelets. And boy, Debbie, I know you like that $100 a month level with Bishop Robert Barron.
Bishop Robert Barron, you can have his newest DVD set, The Mystery of God. That's at a brand new pledge of $100 a month. You can join fellow listeners like Donna from Coronado. Thank you for your special gift. Mary from Peoria, Arizona, adopting, a $250 special gift. Thank you, Mary. That is awesome. Chula Vista, Joy is coming in at half-hour programming a month. That's the way to do it, Joy. Oh, and Annette from Phoenix, Arizona. Way to go. This is so beautiful. A special gift of $300. Los Angeles, Christine, thank you for calling in. Your special gift is going a long way. We got 4 calls on the line. That's the way to do it. We need 4 more right now. But keep in mind, your prayer intentions, your prayer requests, our staff and our volunteers are in Mass right as we speak. So thank you for leaving them with us.
Yeah, and Maria in Fremont, California got creative. She said, not an hour, not 2 hours. I'll give you an hour and a half. So Maria, $75 a month Pledge, a new donation that will keep an hour and a half of programming on her local Immaculate Heart Radio affiliate. And looking for about 5 more of you to call. It's the last day, final hours of your September pledge drive.
And let's not forget Beverly from Las Vegas, Nevada. Way to go, Beverly. Thank you so very much. 4 more calls right now. Will you be one of them? Who's our leaders right now at 888-887-7120 or safe and secure online at ihradio.com.
Well, the goal is full funding for the coming quarter, the quarter of the year. And that is where we need to be by the end of the day today. We're right now about 65%. So other people have done a great job. We've had nearly 2,000 pledges. Add yours to that. Will you do that for us? $25 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month. Debbie, we're going to need some $5,000 and $10,000 donors too.
We sure are. So please pray about it and then make your call, make your pledge. We're going to send you back to Terry and Jesse Show. But before we do, dial 888-887-7120. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
You're listening to the Terry and Jesse Show. We're too blessed to be stressed and too anointed to be disappointed. I got some complaints at a parish. They said, Terry, Jesse, start giving us homework. You're forgetting about your homework. Here's your homework for today. People are starting to email me. They're Twittering me. They're saying, where is our homework? Keep it up. So here it is. Your homework for today is to read John 18:37. Get a yellow marker, highlight it in your Bible, memorize this verse. Here it is. John 18:37. It says, Jesus says, for this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice. John 18:37. That's your homework for today. Get a yellow marker, mark it up in your Bible, and let's memorize that verse. Every single day we're going to give you a catechism or a Bible verse. We have to commit it to memory. I want to go to another topic, but before we do, we got somebody on the phone line that wants to make a comment.
Go ahead, Mabel.
Go ahead, go ahead, Mabel from San Diego.
Hi, yeah, I was listening to you guys about Kim Davis and the meeting with the Pope.
Sure.
And I know I was watching the news, and a lot of people are saying, oh, we had hopes on Francis, he's a revolutionary of the church and all these things. But I think people are looking at these things the wrong way. We are Catholics, and we, like you said, with the verse you just quoted,
yes.
If we hear the truth, we hear Jesus. And Jesus, his teachings are not for us to change. And
Amen.
Essentially, Kim Davis is standing up for what she believes in. And a lot of us Catholics are staying quiet, and we're not saying anything. Everyone, there's, I don't know how many Catholics there are in the USA, but is she the only one that's standing up for what she believes in?
Mabel, thank you for bringing that up. You're making a great point. Boy, did I pay you to say that, Mabel?
No.
You're a good
No,
girl.
you didn't.
I know I didn't, young lady. I don't even know who you are, but I got excited just listening to you. I was just sitting back going, man, keep it up, girl. Jesse, your thoughts?
Mabel, you're right about something. This is very important. Number one, the world seems to forget that the Pope is Catholic.
Amen.
He's the successor of Peter. So everything he says is going to be Catholic. But you have the liberal media saying, I can't believe he made this comment about abortion. I can't believe he made this comment about same-sex marriage. Of course he's going to make those comments. He's the Pope. But you're going to find this, the media is using propaganda as a weapon. And here's what the media does. They'll take one of the Pope's comments and they'll shorten it. Or what the media will do is they'll hear something the Pope says and they'll take it out of context intentionally. Mm-hmm. This way, they mislead the public and they'll leave out certain words. For example, let me give you an example. Okay? Everybody in the media is always quoting the Pope saying, who am I to judge him? That's not what the Pope said. Here's what he said. Quote, if someone is gay and is searching for the Lord and has goodwill, then who am I to judge him? So the Pope is saying what's in the catechism. He's saying if somebody's in the process of conversion, if somebody's seeking the Lord, of course that person is already going through a transformation. Who are we to judge him? It's the Lord's job. But notice the Pope does judge bad behavior. He just called the mayor in Rome, he called him a pretend Catholic. He made a judgment call not on his soul. He didn't say he's going to hell. On his behavior. He's saying that his behavior as a Catholic is not in line with the Catholic Church. The Pope has made another judgment just the other day. He said that the transgender issue is wrong. This ideology is wrong. It's a judgment on the behavior, not on the person. So, Mabel, thanks for pointing that out. God bless you. Thanks for listening to the show.
You're welcome.
God bless you. Mabel, you sound so young, and I'm so impressed with your thoughts. You've got a PhD in common sense, young lady. God love you. Jesse, before we go to our other topic, I just want to mention something about Planned Parenthood videos. We mentioned at the beginning of the show. Let's talk a little bit about that. Here's the bottom line. I'll just set the stage. I traveled, as you know, I wasn't here the last 3 days. I was at the airport, and I met a woman sitting there. I had to wait like 2 hours for my flight, and she happened to be a very, very progressive person. And she was a defender of Planned Parenthood. And she said, you know, those videos that are out circulating, they've been modified. That doesn't really happen at Planned Parenthood. That's just a bunch of, and then she used a word I can't use on the radio. So I, of course, dialogued with her, and I lovingly shared the gospel with her. And why am I bringing that up? Jess, tell us what happened just recently this week.
Because you have the presidents of Planned Parenthood, Cecile Richards,
Yep.
And you have all the liberal media operatives out there saying, those videos are phony. Those videos are doctored. Look at this article. It's called Forensic Analysis. Planned Parenthood videos are authentic. Okay? Just came out September 30th. A forensic analysis of undercover videos about Planned Parenthood's abortion practices are authentic and show no evidence of manipulation or editing, according to a report released Tuesday by the Alliance Defending Freedom. The analysis was completed by Coalfire, a digital security and forensics firm that has worked on civil and criminal investigations. The firm has access to all video and audio investigative footage recorded by the Center for Medical Progress. The Coalfire forensic analysis removes any doubt that the full-length undercover videos released by the Center for Medical Progress are authentic and have not been manipulated.
Amen.
Analysts scrutinize every second of the video recorded during the investigation released by the Center for Medical Progress, and they have said that these things are authentic, absolutely authentic. What Planned Parenthood is doing, they can no longer hide behind the smokescreen of these false accusations, right, and they should now answer for what appears to be very real crimes revealed by the Center for Medical Progress. And American taxpayer money should be redirected to fund local community health centers that don't kill babies and sell their body parts. And they should not subsidize this scandal-ridden billion-dollar abortion business, because this is something that goes against human dignity, natural law, and sacred scripture. Last thing, Planned Parenthood is an organization that cares about one thing: making money, profiting at the expense of women's health. And these investigative videos, whose authenticity has been confirmed by a report, it shows that Planned Parenthood is an abortion machine whose top executives and doctors, they haggle and joke about the harvesting and the selling of baby parts. But you know something? Women deserve better than that. Did you hear me? Women deserve better than that.
And if you want all this material, we have a Twitter account, right, Jesse, where all these articles are sitting.
Twitter at Terry Jesse Show. Go to the Twitter page, Terry at Jesse Show.
I also want to mention something before we go to our break. Again, I just am so passionate about Catholic radio. Obviously, 6 days a week committing, it's important to me. But I get letter after letter to people telling me how important this show and this radio station is. And I could take the whole hour reading to you these letters, but I'm just going to give you one that says, "Dear Brother Terry and Jesse, thank you for your radio show. Your ministry is bringing the Catholic faith to so many. You have helped me on my journey to reach deeper into my Catholic faith. You've answered my questions I've had, given me a lot to think about and use in terms of how I can live a holier life and to be a better servant to God in my everyday life as a Catholic." Here's the last thing he says. He says, the topics, right, that you cover about non-practicing Catholics and young people leaving the church are so close to my heart because my 2 adult children fall into each of those categories. It's not by their own doing alone, but through my failings. Talk about a humble man, to bring them to faith when I needed to do it the most as their teens and their young adults. My bruised pride is not the reason they should return to the Catholic faith, but I pray daily that if it be God's will, they will return to the faith and become lights of the world in Christ and in the church established with Peter. We mentioned that listen to this, by the time a young person is 25 years old, 80% of those people are not going to be practicing the faith. With Catholic radio, that can change.
Absolutely. I just want to mention that Friday and Saturday, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Terry will be doing the show. I'm going to be at San Jose Catholic Church in Carlsbad, New Mexico this Friday and Saturday, October 2nd and 3rd, doing an English evangelization and apologetics seminar, October 2nd and 3rd, San Jose Catholic Church, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely. And if you want Jesse Romero to come to your parish, like he does so many in English and Spanish, just go to his website, jesseromero.com. And, he and his wife, Anita, are a great team. I got to tell you, I travel with Jesse a lot, and it's just wonderful to see a husband and wife in ministry working the way they do. And if you want me to come to your parish, I'm happy to do that. Today, actually, tomorrow night, I'm going to be at St. Francis of Rome Church in Azusa, speaking on evangelization. And then the following day, I'm going to do a day of recollection for the Knights of Columbus here at the Sacred Heart Chapel in Covina. You're all welcome to come. Love to meet with you. And again, don't hesitate to call that 888-887-7120 for making a donation to Catholic Radio. I could read more and more stories, but I got to tell you, everywhere I go in the country, and I do travel like Jesse, we hear more and more people saying it's Catholic Radio that brought me back to my faith. And so I want to encourage everyone listening. If you haven't given a donation to Immaculate Heart, I say now's the time. And why is it the time? Look at the world, everybody. The world acts like God doesn't exist. And what is the message for Immaculate Heart Radio? That life is short and eternity is forever, and that one day we're going to either see two faces, one face of the devil or the beautiful face of Jesus. I believe Catholic Radio is going to help you see that beautiful face of Jesus.
Today's the feast day of St. Teresa, the Child Jesus. Here's one of her most popular quotes, and it'll help you donate to Catholic Radio. St. Teresa, the Child Jesus, said this, quote, "I will spend my heaven doing good on earth." Did you catch that?
Yes.
Quote, "I will spend my heaven doing good on earth." What can you do good on earth? I'll tell you what. Support Catholic Radio. Immaculate Heart Radio is the refrigerator that's feeding the Southwest. Guess what? And all of us that are taking food from that refrigerator through listening to the Catholic Radio, it's time for us to stock the refrigerator that feeds us.
So let's turn it right back over to Debbie and Jerry, and God bless everyone.